everyone, my name is Akshaj and in the last topic we had discussed food and health. So today we are going to discuss communicable diseases. So we are going to start about communicable diseases. So let's see what are the topics which are going to be covered today. So the topics which are going to be covered are communicable diseases. We are going to know about communicable diseases. What are communicable diseases? We are going to see the preventive measures against the communicable diseases, and we are going to see the immunization chart and identifying the symptoms. What are the symptoms? What do they do? And what are the preventive measures? Or for what you have to intake to destroy that. So let's see. Let's see. We start with the introduction. So we are said to be suffering from a disease when our body, an organ or an organ system is not working properly. So when they say you are ill, if you say suppose what do you say? Yes, you have breathing problem. They say you have a disease. You have a breathing problem. When an organ is not working properly or an organ system is not working properly, or your body itself is not working properly, they say you have a disease. So we are said to be suffering from a disease when our body, organ or an organ system is not functioning properly. Functioning means working. Diseases make us weak and unable to do activities easily. So diseases actually make us weak. When our organ is not working, it is a disadvantage for us. Your hand can work, your legs can work, your eyes can work, your mouth can work, but you can't breathe easily. You can't breathe easily. So breathing is an important thing in our body. The respiratory system makes an important part of our body. So if you are having breathing problem, then the diseases make us weak. So weak in breathing, and that's how they make us weak and they are unable to do our activities. The respiratory system helps in breathing, but when it is not functioning properly, you are unable to do that. So that is why diseases make us weak, and the diseases are in 3 types. So let's see. What are the 3 types of diseases? The first one is communicable diseases. The communicable disease. The next one is non-communicable disease. The non-communicable disease. And deficiency disease. So there are 3 types of diseases. The first one is communicable diseases, the second one is non-communicable diseases, and the third one is deficiency diseases. So we are going to discuss about the communicable diseases properly. So what is communicable diseases? Actually, when you have a cold, or your classmate has a cold, or your friend has a cold, in your house, in your school, or in your friend's house, in your neighbor's house, when someone has a cold, he comes to your house and he does some work with you. You touch him, you do mini work with him. So what happens when he sneezes, or when you touch him, he has germs, he has cold. That germs which cause the cold come into you. So the communicable diseases means diseases which move from one place to another and spread diseases. Spreading diseases, they spread diseases. So they are called communicable diseases. And what are non-communicable diseases? Actually, non-communicable diseases means they do not spread. When it comes in a person's body, it will be there for only himself. It's a disease only for himself. It is weakness for only himself. Nothing will happen to others. So there are type of diseases which are not communicable. Communicable means spreading from one place to another, but non-communicable diseases do not spread. And deficiency diseases means when vitamins, minerals, or when you have balanced diet in proteins. Think proteins. Proteins, you eat vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, fats, and many more. All of them are in good quantity. But proteins you don't intake as much as you can. In 100% of protein in a day, you take only 5%. So protein deficiency. See, protein deficiency makes you to unable to do some work most when you don't intake a lot of proteins. Some of them have build our muscles. So when you don't intake a lot of proteins, you will become very weak. So that's why what you have to do, you have to. So what is that disease called? It is not a communicable disease. It is not called a non-communicable disease. It is called a deficiency disease. When a nutrient is not, when you don't intake a nutrient like protein, vitamins, minerals, if you don't take in correct quantity, and you have some diseases because of them, it is called deficiency diseases. So communicable diseases are fever, cold, flu, and many more. Non-communicable diseases are there, and deficiency diseases are also there. But only deficiency diseases, if a nutrient is not in good quantity, it is called a deficiency disease. So when anyone in your class has a cold, there are chances of some of you to get because of the communicable disease as they spread. This because the germs or infections may attack you, because when you touch him or do something like you take his pen when he's writing, he has a cold, he's writing with the pen, you ask him his pen, you write with him. See, when he's on his hand, he has germs. So when he writes, the germs goes on the pen. When you write, the germs which are on the pen land on your hand, and when you touch your face, it goes into your body through the nose or through the ears or through the mouth. So there are many things, many ways the germs can get in. So when a person has a cold, the teacher says better go to home and rest, because there are many people in the class and many people in the school. So if one gets fever, it may be the possibility that the whole school gets the fever. If he walks around and touches many things, and the people who are healthy also touches that things, he gets germs. That person gets common cold or flu. So the teacher says better go to home. So the person, when he has a cold, he is told to better stay at home. So at that time, the risk of spreading diseases is in a less chance. If he goes in a school, there is 90% risk of spreading of diseases. But when he goes to home, it reduces to only 30% risk. Only 30% risk. Even if you have people in your house, your mother, father, but you don't have many people. You don't have 30 people, 40 people, 50 people to get the risk of spreading of diseases. When only 4 or 5 people, 6 people in your houses, what happens? 30% risk. It is not a lot of risk. So when you go to places where there are so much of people, you should not go when you have a common flu or cold. So better you go if you are healthy. I don't say that even if you are healthy, don't go there. People may have common cold or flu. Go even if you are healthy. Take your precautions. But when you yourself have the cold, cough, and many more, don't go there. Better, because many people, they have the chances. There are 90% risk of chances of spreading of the diseases. So it is better to stay at home. And all such diseases are caused by different mediums: air, water, food, or insects. Mediums means they are like the transports. They are the transports for germs. In the air they may spread, in the water they may spread, the food or the insects are called, and these diseases which spread through these mediums are called communicable diseases. These are caused when disease causing germs enter your body and they attack the immune system and they destroy your immune system. They may not destroy, but they cause some common cold, flu, diseases, chickenpox, measles, and many more. So you have to take care of these communicable diseases. So how do they spread through this air, water, food, and insects? We are going to discuss. So they spread. We are going to see how do they spread through. Okay. Before that, we are going to see what are the germs which spread that type of diseases. So the viruses, the germs, viruses, bacteria, and protozoa. They are the different types of germs. viruses, bacteria and protozoa. So viruses, they spread flu, common cold, chickenpox and measles. So these are the diseases which the viruses spread. And bacteria, they spread tuberculosis, typhoid, pneumonia, cholera and many different type of diseases which are dangerous. And protozoa, the germs cause malaria and dysentery. So these are the different type of germs which cause different type of diseases. So we are moving forward to study about to discuss about the infected food and water. So uncovered or unclean food and water may get infected by dirt, dust or insects infested by dirt, dust or insects. Infested means infected may get infected by dust, dirt or insects because they attract unclean or uncovered food. These germs, viruses or insects, they attract that food. They land on your food. They have germs. They spread germs on your food. You go and even if they are infected or unclean, you go and eat that. So what happens when you consume such type of food? When you consume such type of food or water, even if the water is unclean or uncovered, germs and dirt and dust get into it. So better not to consume. Why we have to not to consume? Even if they give power, energy, that type of food and water, then if you consume that type of food and water, then we catch infectious diseases. So they have germs and bacteria. So you have better not to consume such food or water. Your parents can say you have to consult a doctor or whatever happens. You tell your elders, ask if I can eat this type of food. They see that there is dirt, dust, so they say don't eat. And you have to know the reason why, because they have infectious diseases. So when you eat them, you catch infectious diseases. And stale food also cause serious diseases. Stale food means the food, you preserve food for a lot of time, like a month or 2 months. When you preserve those type of foods, some of them preserve that type of food. So what happens if you eat that type of stale food? You have to better not to consume because they also have dirt and dust. Algae comes, fungus goes into that food. So don't preserve food for a lot of time. Eat at that time. I don't say don't eat food. When that type of food, don't preserve them a lot of time. They may get that type of food even if they are not uncooked. They may get expired. Even if you cook them, you keep it for a month or 2 or many weeks. So they get stale. Stale means food which are not eaten for a longer period. You preserve them for a longer period, even if you know you can't, then don't eat that type of food or don't even preserve them. It is better not to preserve them or eat. So sometimes human waste is disposed near water sources. So it is harmful to drink water there. Human waste might be disposed. So you have to not drink that type of water. And some examples of diseases are caused by contaminated food and water. Contaminated means uncovered or unclean food and water are cause diseases like jaundice, diarrhea, food poisoning and cholera. So these are the diseases which may cause. So I will show you one thing. See, this type of water is clean water and this is a muddy or dirt water. So better what to drink. Some people see the color or the different, see they drink. Some people drink clean water for a lot of time, like this water, white color water. And one day a boy came, that boy who drank clean water came and saw that color of water. Oh, we should not drink. This is a different type of color, so why should I drink? And another boy who also drank this type of water, who came and see that water, thought that this is a water where you add some different type of color or food, or so that person or the boy drank that water. So the person who first came told him not to drink that type of water, but he did not think about that. Even if it is a dirty water, he did not think about that. He just drank that water. So after 2 or 3 days, he got some stomach pain and many more things, common cold, flu, and everything came in for that. So that time, the boy who said not to drink that water came and said, that water has dirt and dust. So you should not drink that type of water because it has bacteria, germs and many more traveled in that water. So better not to drink that type of water and drink clean water or filtered water. So the next one is infected air of the communicable diseases. The child suffering from cold would certainly spread some germs in air. So the child suffering from cold, see what happens when the child is suffering from cold, he sneezes, coughs and does many things. So when he should not cough in front of a person. So when an infected person spits or sneezes, germs attack people through air. This is how the germs attack through air. See, when a person spits or sneezes, the germs comes out. So they go into the air. So from that a person breathes in, the germs gets into the air and he gets unhealthy. The person who is healthy. And some diseases which are caused by infected air are tuberculosis, whooping cough, diphtheria, chickenpox and measles. So see, this person is spitting through the air. He has not covered his mouth. Sorry, he has not covered his mouth with his hands or a kerchief. He spits it. It goes into the air. And it travels in the air. And this person is breathing. If this person suppose is breathing, that germs, when he spits out, these germs are there. It goes into the air, and when the person breathes, the germs get inside. So what you have to do, when you spit or sneeze, you have to cover your mouth. You have to cover your mouth with your hand or your shirt or with a handkerchief. So it is better for you to have that. You see, when you spit or sneeze, the bacteria comes out. So in that way, the bacteria, your disease comes out, or whatever your illnesses comes out. In that way, sometimes it may come out, the diseases. So better you have been healthy at that time and don't make others unhealthy because of you. So you have to cover your mouth when you sneeze or spit. So after the infected air, the third one is the insects carrying germs. So how do insects carry germs? Insects like houseflies and mosquitoes cause diseases by being the carrier of germs from sick to healthy person. How? These insects and mosquitoes go and sit on the garbage. So the garbage has all type of different germs or dirt and dust. So it goes and sticks into its legs. So it comes to a person and sucks blood. So at that time, the person, or how it sucks blood at that place, it may have the dirt, germs or dust. So when it sucks, the blood comes out for it, and what happens? The germs get inside your blood. So it travels and it get to a organ like heart or lungs, and then what happens at that time? The bacteria destroys the heart or lungs. Destroys that organ or the immune system. So at that time, you can say that insects or mosquitoes are the main carrier of germs. The carrier of germs from sick to healthy person. So and another thing, how the insects carry germs means even if the insect does or the houseflies do not have the germs on their hand, they catch the sick person, they take out the blood, they go to a healthy person, dispose that blood out. So at that time, the blood may have diseases. So it goes into the healthy person's blood and it destroys the immune system. So what happens? So better stay away from insects and mosquitoes. So it is houseflies and mosquitoes. And the female mosquito, Anopheles, cause malaria. This is the most important. This is the carrier of malaria, the Anopheles or the female mosquito. When an Anopheles sucks the blood from a person suffering from malaria, the germs or the protozoa which causes the malaria and dysentery gets into it or gets into the Anopheles. So when it goes and bites a healthy person, he gets diseases. And the dengue is also a common disease by mosquito bite. So this is how insects carry germs from a sick person to a healthy person. And the next one is how another way you get diseases is direct contact with patients having illness or when he's sick. So communicable diseases spread by touching the infected person's towel, handkerchief or himself. So when the person has when the person who is infected has the diseases, the healthy person goes and touches him or goes and touches his towel where he has used it, and it is very dirty and dusty. So when he goes and touch it, he gets the diseases. So you should be direct contact with patients is not good. See, doctors goes and touch him because they take precautions. They wear the gloves, they wear the mask and do many more things. So they see, why do they wear the gloves and mask? Because they should not touch. See, when if the doctor is taking the illness out of the person, he goes and touch the person without taking. The doctor goes and touch the person infected without taking any precautions. What is the use? When the doctor himself is getting sick. So what happens? The doctor wears the gloves not for the insect, for the germs not to spread out or not to travel into his body, and they wear mask not to touch their mouth and nose because it is the most important place for the germs to breed or go and spread. So that's why they wear gloves and they wear masks. And diseases like chickenpox, measles and flu spread like this. So think this is the dirt and or dust. So the healthy person should not go and touch the person who is infected. So direct contact with patients, the patient who is unhealthy, the patient who is healthy goes and touch the patient who is unhealthy. Himself, the person who is healthy, gets sick. So you have to maintain a distance with patients even if they are relatives or near ones. So direct contact with patients is not good. So the next one is how do the germs spread is some cut or wound on the skin. So what happens, you should not leave when you get a cut or wound on the skin, the skin opens. So skin is like a protective layer. It is even easy for the germs to travel when the skin is open, the blood comes out. So when the skin is open, the germs can easily go into the body through that place where the blood is there, where the cut has happened, and it can easily spread diseases. So what happens when you have a cut or a wound on the skin? What happens? You have to put a bandage or put the lotion or the cream on that place. So what happens when the insects or germs goes and bite on that place, or the germs go and travel on that place to go and cause diseases? That time when the bandage is there, it is closed. They cannot go through anywhere. And when you apply cream or lotion, it is difficult for them to go into that, or it is impossible for them to go. And even if they can go, at that time the lotion or the cream makes the cut or wound get okay, or nothing will happen, the germs cannot enter your body. So the cut or wound on the skin, you have to take care of it at that time only. So this is how communicable diseases spread through these mediums. So we have to see preventive measures against the communicable diseases. Keep ourselves and our surroundings clean, and you have to keep yourself clean and keep your surroundings clean. First you have to keep yourself clean and keep the surroundings clean. When you do that, the person who is not keeping himself and his surroundings clean, he will also keep himself clean and keep the surroundings clean. So when you do, and first you have major priority is yourself. You have to keep yourself clean, and other people will also keep themselves clean. And take a bath every day. One time in a day is must. When you take a bath, the diseases, when the dirt or dust, when you play, you go do many activities, touch. So at the night you sleep, and when you get up and you don't even bath on that day, what happens? The dirt and dust the germs will travel and easily spread diseases. So when you take a bath, that germs and dust or dirt will just die at that place or go away at that place. So it is important to take a bath every day. And garbage should not be accumulated in the house or kitchen. Accumulated means dumped at that place, simply throwing it, even if the garbage or even if the dustbin is full, simply throwing it there, and the dirt and the garbage will just accumulate in the house or the kitchen. So garbage should not be accumulated in the kitchen. If the garbage is accumulated, it is a breeding place for insects. Insects cause germs, and even also it is a breeding place for the germs. So your garbage should not be accumulated in the house or the kitchen. Spraying of disinfectants. Spraying of disinfectants means, disinfectant means even the sanitizer is a disinfectant. When you wash your hands with the sanitizers, it is like a disinfectant. Disinfectant means infectious diseases. Infectious diseases means diseases which make you ill or which makes you unable to do some work. So disinfectants means the diseases which the things which kill the germs at that place. Disinfectants, or they don't make the germs spread or breed at that place. So spraying of disinfectants at some time is must. And rooms with proper ventilation. Ventilation means the room is completely covered. The house does not have holes on its walls. See, when the house has holes on its walls, the insects can come through that hole, and then germs also spread. So at that time, see that the house is completely ventilated. And coolers must be cleaned weekly. If you use coolers, if you keep that cooler for 2 months, 3 months, like that only, it can become a breeding place for insects. That is a breeding place for insects. See, when water will be there, even if you don't clean that water or don't take out that water, simply put the water, make the cooler, even only when you're using it, it can be must. Or when you're not using it, just keep it at one place and don't put water. When you put water and keep that cooler, insects and germs, the water is the best place for the insects to breed. They go put the eggs and just go out. So when you don't use it, that time the insects can breed easily. So keep the cooler completely without water if you are not using it. If you are using it every day, you make sure that the cooler is cleaned weekly. And use nets and repellents. Nets and repellents, if you put your net, you want air to go inside your house. To make your house, you don't want to use fan, but you want to be cool. The house to be cool. So you take out the window and the air comes in. So what happens at that time? The insects can go inside, go through that window. But when you put nets and repellents, at that time nets and repellents also make the air come in and the insects to go out. Air come in, insects go out. When the net and repellents is put and the window is opened, when the insects, the holes are very tiny that the insects cannot go into that. They cannot go into that hole. So put nets and repellents and use nets and repellents. Avoid eating in unhygienic places. Unhygienic places means people, they just keep the food at one place and they sell. They are uncovered, they are just filled at one place. So when you eat at that places, they are called unhygienic places. So when you eat at that places, the mosquitoes, the insects come and sit on that food and they go. When you eat that, at that time also you get diseases. So avoid eating in unhygienic places. Avoid sharing items like toothbrush, towels of a person suffering from communicable diseases. You can use your brush and towels from a person who is healthy, but use it most of the less times use the toothbrush and towels. But it is a must not to take a person of a suffering, not to take a brush and towel or anything which a suffering person has been used those things. Don't use that, because all the germs get on that, accumulate on that thing, and when you use it, the germs come into you. So don't use them, and take vaccination according to your age. So there is a prescribed vaccination. When you take that vaccination, the polio, the diseases will be prevented. So and it will help the immune system stay good. So take vaccination according to your age. And these are the preventive measures against the communicable diseases. So we are going to see about the immunization chart. Immunization chart. The age when your brother who is younger to you, when he's a baby, when he's 2 months, if you know that there's an immunization chart, this can help you. When your baby is 2 months and he has not put a vaccination, tell your mother to put a vaccination of HB, DPT, polio. So what happens? This vaccination prevents the disease tetanus, polio. And in the 4 months of age, the vaccination HB, DPT, polio again will prevent the disease diphtheria. And in 6 months age, the vaccine's name is DPT and it will prevent the disease tetanus. So tetanus is a disease, tetanus polio is a disease, and diphtheria is a disease. And 12 months, at the age of 12 months or a 1 year baby, vaccination is HB MMR and it prevents the disease measles. And at the age of 15 months, vaccination is DPT polio and the prevented disease is whooping cough. So this is a disease, whooping cough. Age 4 to 6 years, the vaccination's name is DPT MMR polio and the prevented disease is mumps and rubella. And this is the immunization chart of a person who is until 4 to 6 years. So let's go to the identifying symptoms. We are going to identify what are the different type of symptoms. So the disease TBC is a short form of tuberculosis. So if you have tuberculosis, the symptoms is appetite. Appetite will be getting low or the appetite will not be good. So tuberculosis makes your appetite low. And the preventive measures of this TBC or tuberculosis, and that you have to take vaccination. So there is a vaccination for the tuberculosis. And whooping cough, the symptoms is mild fever and the preventive measures is vaccination. The disease measles symptoms is rashes on the body. So what happens on the rashes on the body? This also preventive measure is vaccination. And diphtheria symptoms is swelling of throat and preventive measures is vaccination. And the disease jaundice, the symptoms is loss of appetite and the preventive measures is vaccination and clean water. And diseases typhoid, the symptoms is very high fever and the preventive measures is also vaccination. Diseases dysentery, symptoms is pain in stomach and the preventive measures is clean water and food. And ORS means oral rehydration solution. So we are going to discuss about that in the next slide. And the disease cholera is symptoms is loose motion and the preventive measures is clean water and ORS. So these are how we identify symptoms. So I am going to tell you 2 interesting facts. So the first one is AIDS. What is AIDS? AIDS is a disease. It is a communicable disease. Acquired immune deficiency syndrome. So this is a full form of AIDS. And AIDS is a very serious communicable disease. What does it do? The virus causes AIDS. And what is the bacteria? What is the germ for this AIDS causing bacteria? It is HIV. So the HIV is the name of the AIDS but causing bacteria. And HIV destroys completely the immune system. So immune system stands a no chance against this HIV. So it completely destroys the immune system. So what happens? It can easily spread what kind of diseases, and many type of diseases can enter your body. And unfortunately, there is no cure for this deadly disease called AIDS or acquired immune deficiency syndrome. So as I said, we are going to discuss about ORS. What is ORS and how can you make it? ORS is nothing but oral rehydration solution. So what does it do? It is a kind of magic mixture which can save a person from vomiting and diarrhea caused by malaria and dysentery. So malaria and dysentery is the disease. And when it is taken at a short interval, what does it do? It makes up for the loss of water of the patient's body. So when the patient has a loss of water, when you drink ORS, automatically water will get into a correct percentage. If the water is some in your body, water is 80% needed water in your body. So 80% when a person has malaria and dysentery, it will reduce to 20%. It may reduce to 20%. So when you drink this ORS, what happens? This 20% will again become 80%. So again and again it will become 20%. But when you take ORS and ORS for a little bit time, this cholera and dysentery gets completed, and means that this disease will get destroyed, and you will not get this vomiting and diarrhea. So when you take this ORS, it makes up for the loss of water of the patient's body. And to prepare ORS, add 1 spoon of salt, 4 spoons of sugar, and a few drops of lemon in a 1 liter glass of water. So to make ORS, it is just easy. You have to take a 1 spoon of salt, take 4 spoons of sugar, and few drops of lemon. Lemon can be found in your home. And sugar can be found in your home. Salt can be found in your home. So you can make ORS easily. So these are the interesting facts. So I have completely done with the communicable diseases. So we are going to recap in a short way called the summary. So the summary: communicable diseases spread through different mediums. So the different mediums are air, water, food, and insects. So these are the different mediums through the communicable diseases spread. And it is important to keep ourselves clean, and you have to take bath every day. And disinfectants kill germs and insects. So the disinfectants, yes, they kill germs and insects. And coolers should be emptied, cleaned, and refilled once a week. So it is important, if you use a cooler every day, you empty it, clean it, and then again refill it for the use of the cooler. And it can be done once a week. So it is important. And vaccinations against diseases produce germ-fighting substances in the body. What are they called? They are called the immune systems. So these substances help the immune system fight against the germs. So this is how vaccines help. And this is how summary has been done. And this is about the communicable diseases. So in the next class, we are going to discuss about the non-communicable diseases and deficiency diseases. So I hope you enjoyed my discussion with you. So in the next class, we are going to be enjoying another topic. Thank you.